Anyways, we're gonna walk you guys through SQLite. It is a pretty lightweight language that we typically use to work with databases. And so over the next couple of hours, I'm going to basically cover the more theoretical aspects of it, how databases work, how the relationships within each kind of defines, as well as some key terms. And then Cynthia is going to work through an activity that will hopefully explain most of the things that I'm going to cover. And so for the first half, you don't really need much other than DB browser, which I will be covering how to download later regardless, as well as maybe a bit of VS Code if you want to take notes. It's the second part where you'll be mostly coding. Okay. So if you have your phone, do scan this QR code and follow along. This QR code does provide you with a glossary of everything I will be talking about. And so if you are confused about any of the terms or whatever, I'll also be posting a Google Doc link in the resources later, so you can check it. But let me just keep going, and then you guys can follow along. So setting up your laptop. We are going to be using both VS Code and DB browser. Database browser is basically a really handy tool to view SQLite databases that we're later going to use to see the different files that we will be putting you on. And so first, I'm going to gloss through this really quickly because some of you have already downloaded VS Code. If you just Google VS Code, you should see the installer and just follow the instructions up there. Okay, so while I speak for the next couple of minutes, feel free to download VS Code if you haven't already. And if you need any help, just let one of us know. Okay, so just Visual Studio Code or VS Code. Okay. Okay. Ken? All right. Yeah, so we're just going through VS Code installation. So if you don't have VS Code installed already, the next 5 minutes is your chance. Oh, there goes your GovTech merch. Oh, here we go. Now we're going to be downloading DB browser from website. Same thing. Last night, Cynthia sent everyone in the announcement channel a link that links to the download page. But if not, you can always just Google DB browser for SQLite, and then you should see the downloads page from there. Okay. So while you take time to download, I'll be going through what a database is. It's basically a database is essentially an organized collection of data, as you might know from different big companies like Uber, where they store user information, as well as Airbnb, where they store rental information, right? So it's essentially just a group of data that are classified by several labels and etc. They're stored generally on these big computers, data centers, and etc. And so this is a very simple example of a database, right? It's formatted as a table. It doesn't have to, but this is a very visual way to kind of see what each of these columns are for. So widely used technique to design these databases is to imagine them as some sort of entity where we are basically putting relationships between different values together, right? I'm sure all of you have studied functions in math. This is similar. You're basically mapping. And so later on, you're going to see that this is very similar to what you see in math, where there exists a one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, as well as many-to-many relationship. So can anyone imagine a case, I'm going to work backwards here, where we might have many-to-many relationships? Maybe an app, whatever, that you can think of. Anyone in the back row? Just like shout out an app. What app do you think might use a database that's like many-to-many relationships? So what I mean by many-to-many relationship is if we go back to the table here, right? every single one of these values are mapped to a series of attributes here. And so in what cases might there be many values mapped to many different attributes? Maybe. Hmm? Yeah, go ahead. Combinations of data? Yes. So for instance, if you are maybe looking at popular social media apps like Instagram, right? Especially LinkedIn, right? Connection networks. When you connect with someone new, that forms a new entry in the database, mapping you to another relationship. But you yourself, you're connected in another network as well. So that is basically what a many-to-many relationship means. One to, yeah? Yes, connectivity, exactly. One-to-many, imagine when you buy things online, right? You have a shopping cart. That is one-to-many because you as a user, you're connected to a series of items, maybe across different warehouses. But in the database, you're just logging one-to-many. You're just having different entries. Finally, one-to-one, you're very simple username, right? Every username needs to be unique so that number one, you don't get spoofed, and number two, the company that tracks your data know exactly who you are. So that exists a one-to-one relationship. Okay. This is what typically we use to talk about database infrastructure. It's a very simple tree diagram. In here, you can see that we have established these individual attributes that we'll be looking at. You see the students and the course, and we also established the relationship between them. The student studies the course, right? So we have a direct causal effect. The student is what we're measuring, and the course is something else we're measuring. For each of these students, we have three individual attributes, the name, the ID, and the age. And for course, we have course ID and course name. Okay, so these are all separate attributes to these entities. Okay, the next couple of slides is going to be a wash of information. And so I highly encourage you to look at the Google Doc that I've shared above, or later on, just listen in, and then I'll be sharing the Google slide through Discord while Cynthia walks through the activity. Okay. When we're talking about databases, there's two acronyms or two shorthands that you really need to kind of keep in the back of your head. The first one is the four S's. Four S's. Structure, size, speed, and scalability. Because when we're talking about database, especially when you guys are loading up different pages and in your hackathon submission, you will want to make sure that your database takes up as much as it needs only if it needs to. So what I mean by that is that the structure of it and the size of it has to be as efficient as possible, as small as possible, so that when you load it up, it doesn't take like 30 seconds to load all your connections in LinkedIn. Speed, we're going to be introducing SQLite. There's also other alternatives for databases such as MySQL and MongoDB. Those are completely different relational and non-relational databases that we'll not be covering today. Finally, scalability. You'll want to make sure that your database can withstand maybe like 100 new submissions, 1,000 new submissions, or even more, right? If you're talking about the big companies, thousands of users logged on every single minute. How do companies keep track of that? By providing a scalable database. DBMS, this is not something that you need to memorize too hard. It's just a software package that basically manipulates data in database. So DB Browser is a very skeletal version of it. You'll see that later on. We'll be demoing how you can change data, view data later on when we're looking at databases, such as the Santa one we're going to look at later. But some of you might be curious as to what this means. And so ACID properties is the second acronym that basically describes what are some of the principles that you need to put in with your database. So if your database does not work in the next couple of hours, it's probably because of one of these four, okay? So ACID stands for atomicity, and don't worry, I'll be explaining that. Consistency, isolation, and durability. This is industry practices. You'll see meta engineers, you'll see GitHub engineers talk about this a lot because they store so much data. So why is ACID needed? As I was saying, it's a whole entity, right? An entity is just an object. And if you have any trauma coding Java, you would know, yeah, I know, ew, exactly. If you have any experiences coding Java, you will know that it is very organized, demonically organized. And so similarly, databases need to be organized as well, so that when we issue any transfer of data, you don't want your data to kind of end up in the murky soup of your code. Okay, this is just a summary of what I literally just said. ACID maintains data integrity. That's the key takeaway here. Okay, I'm going to go through ACID. It's not really on the slides, but we're going to go through a bit of what atomicity means. Okay, so if you scroll down all the way on that document that I sent, you should see a very simple definition in one of the tips. Okay, now that tip basically explains what atomic means. You want to make sure that every column you put does not hold more than one value. Pretty obvious why, if you think about it, right? If you have multiple values, then you risk having ununiform distributions of data. What I mean by that is, for example, if I maybe have an items list that might store different number of items, one of the potential problems that will happen is you will have item names with different formats, right? Do you want to store ID? Do you want to store name? Or do you want to store both of them together? And so that becomes a problem. The A in ACID basically wants you to ensure that whatever you put into your databases column is the same across all of the entries that you put in. C, let me go back to the 3. Yes, consistency. It latches on the A, basically saying that whatever you put in, keep it the same. You'll see later on we'll be introducing data formats. A lot of these data formats are very loosely governed, meaning that you can put a lot more values than they actually tell you to. And so it is up to you to figure out what exactly values, what exact formats you need. Isolation and durability, those are basically telling you that don't mix databases up. There are certain ways to link different databases up, but what is important is that when you maybe later on are learning how to merge databases and etc., you need to keep in consideration on how each of the databases are structured, okay? But don't worry, we're gonna walk through a demo that basically explains how you can safely merge them together, so you don't get any trauma, like I did last night. So let's talk about relational databases. I was mentioning about MySQL and MongoDB. MySQL and SQLite are what are known as relational databases, where they are typically represented as tables with relationships stacked together. You also have non-relational database like MongoDB and etc. Those are more used for many-to-many relationships. I think you might kind of infer why. But in a relational database model, you typically have data stored as relations and represented in the forms of rows and columns and collected in a table. Okay, so a relational database is essentially just a collection of these tables. So you might have different tables for each of the attributes that you're going to look at. Yes. Here's a simple table description. I'm not going to dwell too much on this. You'll see a very particular example later on when you're exploring DB browser. So yes, so this is what is commonly known as the header when you code. This just describes all the attributes that you're going to be looking at. And then later on, when you're exploring, you might see attributes such as toy ID, Discord ID, name, age, gender. So all of these are attributes. Okay. As I was saying, values are atomic inside the database, which means that they cannot be divided. You can't divide the number and then kind of simplify it into something else. They are the original values. And the other thing that you need to keep in mind of is that each column must have a unique name for security reasons, right? Durability. You want your none of your columns should have duplicate attributes, so that later on you get confused on which data to merge. Yes. Okay. Yes, that's a good question. So, for instance, right, you have two cases. For this one, this is a number, right? But it is a number in a sense that it cannot be divided. It's something that's unique to that individual name here. So, for example, if I take Cynthia's Discord ID here, this Discord ID is by kind of knowledge unique paired to Cynthia. And of course, female, River Valley High School, and contact number, right? And so those are things that are unique. It can't be divided. It is atomic in the sense that it is something you cannot try to replicate across different columns. This is something that only solely corresponds to one person. Another example is, for example, a shopping cart, right? Shopping cart number is not divisible because it is what you have. You can't have six items, but actually your shopping cart only has three, right? And so this is something that's unique. Yes. So you might be wondering, how do we read this data? Finally, SQLite. SQLite, why is it called SQLite? Because actual SQL language takes a long time to learn. Even software engineers do not like it. And so we're going to teach you the light version. Can you believe it? We're so kind. This table, going back, we're going to just look at this through the lens of Excel or Google Sheet. Okay, so this is a 2D table that has not yet been ported into DV browser. So as I was saying, each of these, name, gender, school, contact number, these are all what are known as fields, the attribute / record that you are relating to in a particular record. And so imagine the library, right? If you've been to a library, you've probably seen a Dewey Decimal System. Similar thing, record basically keeps account of every unique entry within the database. And so here we're setting the record to be primarily ranked based on the Discord ID. Okay. How many records does the table above have? Go, flash. 4? Awesome. See, they are paying attention. Wonderful. Okay. So this is a big table, but you can also have a very small table, right? You can have just the school, the year, and the class. That's also possible. Okay, so you can see the different sizes of the tables. More terms, yay. You don't have to memorize any of these. These should be in the document that you sent. Primary key versus foreign key. I think it's in section 1. Nope. 3 that I put in. The primary key is something uniquely identifiable, such as the record, the Discord ID that you sent. And foreign key, because they're foreign, they link to other databases. Okay. So what might be an instance, maybe in actual everyday application, that you might need to link to a different database? Maybe someone over here, because I just heard 4. Anyone want to offer maybe a suggestion? Yes. Can one of you 4? Yes. School, and what particularly? Oh, with the previous table? Yes, perfect. So imagine you're a student, right, at a school, and your IT department is absolutely, I'm not going to say the word, but let's just say they're incompetent, right? And they have a bunch of relational tables in their databases. Never do that, by the way. Never have SQL tables in your school security system. But let's say we have a table of students and classes. How do we link them together? Well, student studies in classes, right? And so you can basically relate the courses or the classes that you are taking from that courses table to the students table. And so that establishes a one-to-many relationship. Do you guys kind of get how we're looking at this now? So for example, if you are studying in 8 classes, then you will be having multiple foreign keys on you that goes to the classes, the courses table. Okay. So data. Let's look at some data. Data redundancy. Okay? Data redundancy basically means that you are storing the data more than once. For example, your age might be stored more than once. But one of the key things you want to avoid here is the redundancy itself. This could cause problems later on when you're inserting, uploading, or deleting new values in a database. Going back to what I said before, right? Consistency. You don't want multiple instances of the same data popping up in your database, or else you might have 3 different age parameters. And worst case, you'll have a different age in every single one. So you might be 14, 15, 16 all at once. Actually, funny story. My name actually got stored in the school database twice. So my name is just Peter Yao Yao. Yeah, I've raised it up with the IT department. They didn't do anything. And so I changed it myself because you never store things in an SQL table. Why is data redundancy an issue? As I was saying, for example, let's take a look at this. Okay, what are the first redundancy you see here? What is the most obvious thing that you notice here? Someone from here. What do you notice? Which one is a redundant entry? Hmm? Oh, oh, there's no animations here. Okay, I'll just animate. Okay, so if you have a form class, right, you don't really need your teacher. So imagine if I have another entry that says 4A and someone else like Cynthia. What do you think will happen? I know you're not a form teacher, but we're going to assume you are. Imagine you have 4A and this. What will happen? There will be 2 teachers in a form, right? That's not really what you want. Okay. So this shows in a database, right? Whatever information you don't think you need, don't add it in. And pick the one that makes sense to your application. Okay. Data is very easy to fetch, but the idea is you want to make sure that the data you actually get is actually significant. Just collecting like 200 rows of data isn't going to help you. Okay. All right. Data normalization. This is a bit more mathy and a bit more theoretical, but this is basically a way to organize the relational tables that you have in order to reduce the data redundancy and to prevent the inconsistent data that you just saw in an example. Okay, so data normalization assumes 2 things. Number one, all of the columns are atomic. As we have pointed out earlier, all of the columns must have indivisible value, that each of these values must correlate to another. And secondly, every attribute must be fully dependent on the entire primary key. So for example, the Discord ID that we just explained earlier. Let's look at this table. Oh, I apologize if the text is too small, but you should be able to stretch. We have a regulation number, whatever that is. Register number, right? Okay, I'm clearly not from public school. Name, gender, form class, form teacher, classroom, and CCA information. Okay, so first of all, we already noted that form class and form teacher, oh, they're different. See, they're for A and for B. So you can't remove it now because all of the data in each row is actually different. Okay, so in this case, this is needed. After normalization, you can see how it gets nicely split, right? You have a clear relationship of what is what. First, you have the student, which makes sense, right? This is one entity. You as a student is just one person. Then we have class. And the class here is split according to form class, form teacher, and classroom, right? A teacher is typically in a classroom. Finally, we have CCA info. Can anyone tell me why we might split CCA info? Maybe consider the size of it, okay? Does anyone have an explanation? Let's look at maybe middle here. Yes, 1. Yes. Do you want to offer a reason? Maybe think about the size. So why do we want to maybe split the CCA information column? This one. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Wonderful. Yes, that is exactly right. You don't want this chunky column here, right? There's too much information in that. And as we said, remember what is our first rule? Atomicity. I hate that word. But it basically means that all the values inside your column must be indivisible. And as we mentioned, right, Discord ID, you can't divide it up. This you can, right? You can split it up into the CCA itself, the teacher, and you can also split it according to which one of them corresponds to which regulation number. Okay? So you can see here, that's why we have 4 tables. We have CCA info with the CCA and the teacher. We have the student corresponding to which CCA they're doing, and you have the student and the class. Okay? So think about optimizing your database. So instead of having 200 columns, you might have maybe 20 different tables, each with 10 rows. Okay? As I was saying, it's all about creating entities, right? If there is one object or multiple objects, actually, if there's multiple objects in your database, maybe considering moving them into different tables just to create this functional dependency that X, maybe the student, maybe the class actually is dependent on the student taking it, right? Because students study course. This is a bit more building on top of this. What if you have 3 things? If A depends on B and B depends on C, then you can say that A is transitively dependent. Logic. We're not going to cover this in detail now. There's a whole lot of things you can do with this, because imagine if you have A depends on B, which depends on C. That's how your LinkedIn connection network knows whether you're 1st degree, 2nd degree, or 3rd degree. So to anyone who's looking at either Discord, Instagram, or even X, that's how you get your friends' recommendations from. Let's look at SQLite now. Now that we're done with the theoretical set theory, does anyone have any questions? Yes. Yes.
So would it be right to say that A is functional?
Yes. If A is functionally depending on B, and B independently is functionally depending on C, then you can say that A is transitively dependent on C. Yeah. So like in Instagram, right? I'm pretty sure you guys use Instagram. Please don't tell me you use Twitter. If you're using Instagram, right? If you doom scroll long enough, you'll see a list of friends' recommendation, right? Some of these friends you might not even know them, but some of them you might vaguely know from maybe a summer camp or whatever. That is this at work. The database behind Instagram is actively calculating which one of these entries that they have, which one of the user entries are transitively dependent on your node. So maybe it's through a mutual friend or it's through an account that you may be following. Okay, so that uses different foreign keys to kind of connect those accounts to you in hopes that you might follow them. Okay, it's the same with Reels. Actually, your Reels get recommended because of your interests. For example, you as a user might be functionally depending on multiple things. Like for example, I can imagine her traits being skibbity toilet reels. Okay, so silly cat videos and skibbity toilet reels. So if we have like multiple traits here, then that kind of branches out to a lot more reels that you can view. I don't care. And that's why you can spend hours doom scrolling, because of this tree that gets exponentially larger. Okay, this is a sign for you to stop doom scrolling. Moving on. In, okay, we're gonna talk about SQLite. I'm gonna move this mic. Yes.
And I don't watch activities.
You never know.
Cat videos, it's silly cat
things that brutally attack my love life. Yeah, there is no in between. Okay, so here's now I'll be talking about like an intro to SQLite. So we have like we have many types of data, right? So like yeah, type affinities. These are like all the different types of data that you've got in your SQLite, where you can like you can format. Wait, not format. Sorry, you just have these data types. So first, integer. So this is used to store a signed integer value, and the value is stored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8 bytes, depending on the magnitude of the value. It looks something like this in DB browser. Next, text. This is used to store a text string using the database encoding, which is either UTF-8, UTF-16BE, or UTF-16LE, and it'll look like this. And real is used to store like a floating point value as an 8-byte IE floating point number. It's just a decimal basically, and it'll look like this. And numeric, this is a little bit long, but this column may contain any values using one of these 5 storage classes, and it'll look like this. And lastly, blob. Blob stands for binary large object, which is used to store large binary data such as images or multimedia in a database, but it won't really be used, so like you don't have to be scared. Now, you guys can go to DB browser first, okay, and then we like this type of function. You can go try it out using this. Like, I think there's a database provided for you already. Yes. The BuildingBloCS one, right?
Let me walk you guys through. Okay.
No, I won't. No, me.
Okay, just before you guys go to DB browser, right? You'll notice that you can't really access the SQL pane because you'll need a database to do that. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna commandeer your laptop. Yes. Yes. Okay. So in the Discord announcement, I should have sent a thread that links to a particular GitHub repository. Okay. Now Cindy already has access, so I'm just gonna work it off of this. It should be called Building Blocks Database Workshop 2024. If I can click it. All right. You see this wonderful data setup? Yeah. Okay. Now make sure you're on the main branch, and then we are going to essentially git clone this repository. This will be serving as everything that you'll be working on. Okay. I'm not gonna do this because you probably already have it. Yes, you do. Yeah. Wonderful. No, it's okay. Wait, hold on. That's all of the things. Okay. Oh. So while you guys clone, I'm gonna just clean up this repository. Okay. Okay. So you should see that the file kind of looks like this. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Screen share. Okay, online people, if you can't see the screen, let me know. So you should see the code. So just follow the instructions in the README file. And if you guys have any questions, let Cindy know because she can just run to you and help you set up. I'm strapped. No. No. I'm strapped to a microphone.
Yeah, but if anyone needs help, I can.
So just to describe again, okay, in the thread, in the Discord thread that I just sent in the announcement channel, there's a link to a repository that's called BuildingBloCS Workshop 2024. Click on it, scroll all the way down. You should see instructions in the Getting Ready section that you need to have both DB browser and VS Code installed and have Python 3 point whatever ready, preferably the latest version. I use 3.12 and 3.10. Both, it works on both versions. And then you can just download using git clone. Or if you don't have Git, unfortunately, you can go to the green code button. You can click on it, and you can download the zip. It also works. Yeah. Does anyone from this section have any questions? My right hand. Well, yes, my right hand. Does anyone have any questions? No? What about my left hand section? Are you guys doing okay? Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, and so that you guys can test out the SQL. So this is the structure of the data. Okay, we have the hands-on activity folder where you'll be using for later experimentation with DB browser. So I want you to open up the hands-on activity folder. You'll see that there is a hands-on activity database, as well as an organizer CSV, and a backup because we're too kind in case you delete it. You know, which happens. Trust. This is how Microsoft almost got sued. Then does none of you have the? Oh, never mind. This is like old. I think I'm a boomer.
That is just me.
Right. Okay. But I want you guys to look at where your hands-on directory, hands-on activity database is. Okay. And so we'll be using this database to kind of walk through DB browser. So I'm gonna hand this back to Cynthia. Yeah, it's already done. Yeah. Okay. I'm back, I guess. Okay. So to open this database, right? This is DB browser. Okay. So open it up. You'll see a white. If you have a black screen, I envy you because dark mode is better. I did. Let's see. Open database, right? You see this? And so I don't know where yours is. Okay. She has hands-on files because she worked on this last night, but y'all should go to your repository into hands-on activity and select hands-on activity.db. Where? Oh, it's in your downloads. So, okay, yes. So in your database workshop, Tech merge, database workshop, hands-on activity, click. Please click. Hands-on activity. Okay, it's not going to show .db, but you know that it is a database because of the little icon. If you're on Windows, if you're on Mac, this is 1,000 times easier for you because there is a DB. Okay, open. Ta-da! You see this? Now, please don't nuke it now. That would be a very sad end to our exploration. But you can see, yes, you can see that there are 4 tables here. Okay, we're not going to touch these tables now. First, we're going to go back to the slides. Yeah.
Okay, so now that you're in like DB browser, right? You can like play around with the type of function, but I'll just show you guys like how to use it first. So you can like select type of this yeah, it's in this thing. There's 4 of these tabs. Then we are using execute SQL as of now. You can like this is just an example. You can play around it later. So like select type of :3. It's in quotations, by the way. So you guys want to try? What's the data type of :3? in the quotation marks. You want to try? You know, for this. You want to try? Maybe you. Yes. What's the data type of column 3? Huh? No. Want a second try? You got your answer? Hmm? No, there's no mix. You can't mix like type affinities in the DB browser. You give up? Huh? Huh? No. Last chance. Come. It's in a quotation mark. What do you usually put in quotes? Yep. It's text. It's same thing, string. So yeah, it was a trick question. But here comes the next one. What if you do type of like and it's empty? Anyone? Correct. Very good. You get syntax error. Now I'll be teaching you guys some basic SQL statements where you can play around with the database that we provided using these statements. So what are SQL statements? Well, an SQL statement is a command that's used to interact with a relational database, allowing you to perform actions like retrieving, adding, modifying, and deleting data within the database tables. And these statements can be broadly classified into 4 different categories, which is DQL, DML, DDL, and DCL, which is these 4. So here's some basic statement commands or syntax. And SQL is not sensitive, it's not case sensitive. So lowercase bro is the same as like full caps bro. So, oh, okay, wait, sorry. What's up? My mic.
Okay, common issue that I've seen, do not open your project. It's open a database. Open project is something completely different. So just open your database with the open database button and click on only the .db file, okay? Don't open a folder. Okay, thank you. End of transmission.
Yay. Okay, so we got create this command. It creates a database and its objects. And like this is the syntax for it. So you create table name, then in the bracket you put your column name and your data type. So like for example, like I want to create like skibidi, then this column is meow, and then the text type is the data type is text. And then if your query executes, it will do this. If not, your first sales will help you. Yeah, so now I'll give you like 3 minutes to try out this activity. And if you have any queries, you can ask if you're done with your like, or if you have issues executing it. Yeah. Oh shit. Wait, where's my, is there a timer? Oh, yeah, okay. You guys get 3 minutes. If you got any questions, also can ask now. Because I'm pretty sure like creating a table is not gonna take you that long.
The document that I shared should have actually the answer. Yep. Oh,
What?
that was almost a casual. Stop it. We're in the same age. Okay. All right. I'm gonna sit here ominously looking while you guys code. But in the meantime, okay. What's up? Do you have a question? Cynthia. I can't reach you. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Where is she? No, bro. It's over there. Okay. I'm actually on house arrest right now. Hold on. Okay, online people, I'm gonna leave you guys for a bit. Cool. Yeah. So to check your table, okay, just to see if your table has been created, if you go to database structure, you should see a new table pop up. Okay. So if you go back to the home page, the page where you see the other tables, you should see a new empty table pop up. Okay. Yes. Also, make sure to set your primary key, okay? Remember that we're talking about one-to-one or one-to-many or many-to-many relationships. And so you'll need something that you want to relate back to your database. So for instance, if 3 minutes is up, so I'm gonna kind of walk through this. Okay. Cool. That's one of them. All right, do this. Wonderful. Okay. So what's, huh? I don't know. Registration. Oh, then just go into the organizer room. All right. Yeah. Yeah. The other. Yeah. Okay. So what's the statement? I know you figured it out. What is it? What's the statement to create the table? Okay. And then what do you want it to be?
Don't name it skibidi, please.
Okay. And then what do you want it to be? Don't say anything now. This is your chance. This is your chance. This is projected to like 100 participants. A toilet. Yes, wonderful. And then what would it be?
I
The
didn't
data type.
influence this.
What's the data type? Let's just call it integer. Primary key. Okay. And what else? Sigma. I heard sigma. Okay. What will be the data type? Text. Okay. Is this it? Okay. Let's go back to, oh, how do you run?
Button.
Click.
Okay.
Ta-da! We have executed. We have executed Skibidi.
SQ
Woo! Okay, you should see if I open up the date, open up this. You see? Okay. You have toilet as an integer. And you have sigma as a text. Wonderful. Let's go back. Okay. Next. Back to you. Oh, okay. Never mind. Wait, guys. Oh, give us a second. How does this work? Stop sharing. I am so sorry.
Oh, we guys. Technical difficulties.
Let us run this again. Oh, wait, you were sharing this. Okay. Okay, anyways. Okay, so in case, okay, let's make another database. So create table he. Okay, so the thing you use for online people is create table he. Another he. We're gonna make this text.
It should be atomic.
Oh, right. We can't put too many he-he's. Ho ho.
He.
And then I'm not gonna add this because we're just gonna. And then what else? Unique.
No, like as
No.
in
The column name.
Oh.
Anyone from this side wants to give me a column name? Just shout out a word. Yes. What word? Whatever column. This is gonna go down in Cynthia's laptop. What word do you want to be in the laptop? Haha, wonderful. Yes.
Okay.
We love creativity. Text. Okay, I'm gonna create this table. There we go. Now we have he with this demonic column names, but you get the idea. Okay, back to Cynthia. Back. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay. Hopefully you guys understood. Let's new.
No.
Okay.
Give me my. Oh, I thought it said tree.
Are you for real?
Okay, next command. We've got alter. Okay, so this is the syntax for it. It's alter table, table name, add column, column name, and the column data type. Which is if you have like I was doing this on the skibidi table, then you do this, then it'll add another column, like that's sigma, and then the data type is text. And then the successful execution, you'll get this message. So you wanna try it with a bracket. Oh frick, sorry. You wanna try it with a bracket, like if you were to do it like the same way you did create table. So if you were to do if you were to do alter table with a bracket, I'm sorry, did you guys see the answer just now? No? Did you? Okay. So what if you were to do it with a bracket? What would you get? Would you get anything? Would you successfully execute the query? No? Yeah, you're right. You get an error. So now I'll give you guys another 3 minutes to try this out. And if you got any more queries, you can ask too. Yeah. Oh my. Hi everyone. We're gonna move on to the next command. For every command, you'll get like time to try out yourself. So like, I'm pretty sure that's more than enough time to ask like about stuff that you don't understand. So this command drop, it deletes a table from the database. So you gotta be careful before dropping a table. Deleting a table will result in the loss of like complete information to stored in the table. So you like do this at your own risk. So this is the syntax for it. It's just drop table. So like I don't want my skibidi table anymore, right? So I just drop table skibidi and it will get rid of my table. The table will just be completely wiped from my database. And then there's no evidence of skibidi there. Wait.
Let's drop Scooby-Doo.
It also should not be named skibidi, like if you guys were copying my code directly. Because you can name it anything you want. I give you guys freedom of choice. You don't have to name it skibidi.
So drop.
Wait, shadow.
Yeah. All right. Say goodbye to the Skibidi toilet table, guys. Oh, there it goes.
Oh no, skibidi's gone.
Now the only table left is the he.
I'm dropping that too. Screw
Okay.
screw he, bro. How many he-he's did you?
She does not appreciate the culture.
Yeah, I dropped it. Okay, so like as you can see here, like both tables got dropped. And then nuked completely. They're gone. Goodbye. No more table.
And so be careful when you're editing tables. Okay? Never drop unless they're absolutely necessary.
Oh, and I haven't taught you guys this, but like you can always revert changes if you wanna get back your original. Yeah, and write is basically just save. So if you're sure about everything, you can write changes. And then your database, you can't revert anymore. Okay, so. What? Okay. DVD. I was clicking. Okay, yeah, you guys get another 3 minutes to try out if you want.
But don't remove the databases we set
Yeah,
you up.
if you remove those, you can still get it back. But if you nuke the backup file, then I cannot save you.
Just re-download.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but that's gonna take you time. So yeah, please don't nuke the databases. Please don't try to be funny. Okay, I appreciate humor, but please don't be like this. Give them 7.
Are you guys still having issues? All right, wonderful.
Everyone's okay then. Yeah.
Who has not dropped the table?
Who has not nuked their databases?
Okay, maybe not the whole database.
Not nuke the whole database, but nuke your skibidi tables or whatever.
All
Okay,
right.
I'm pretty okay. Everyone fine? Okay. 8 seconds left. Okay. Good. I'm so good. Okay, onto DQL.
Okay, that's in your.
That's also in the docs. Yeah.
Not the name. 3, 4, 5.2. No, 3.
Okay. Select. This is also a command in your. Sorry, it's also a statement, and it can be used to select data from a database. And this query will return the data which will fulfill the filter specified afterwards. So you can actually select multiple columns in your database, and it will, if you don't specify how many you want or whatever, you will get every single one of the columns. So oh sorry. What am I doing? You guys get 3 minutes to try this out again. Right. I got a. Did I? I think I bought it. Oh, and if you say like select asterisk from table, I think it returns you every single column in that table. So you can like play around with this. Maybe look for your own specifiers. Yeah, have fun. You got 3 minutes.
Okay, I want a raise of hands. Who tried to import index as a column and got an error? Okay, what about this part? Did anyone try to import index? and got an error. Don't try it now, because we did a little silly. And let me explain to you guys why. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so if you are one of the people who I applaud for being curious, you might have done this. If this shares, you might have done this. Select index from participants. Okay. Yes. What's up? No. SQLite is case insensitive, and that ties back to what I'm going to be talking about. Don't name your column index because it's a keyword in SQLite. It's a reserved keyword in SQLite. It actually means something else. Okay, you're going to see later. Similar to how an array in JavaScript or an array in any coding language is what are known as array indices. So the index of an array, maybe the first item is index 0, or if you're coding in, I forgot which language, maybe 1. Is that MATLAB? Yes. If you're using MATLAB, your indices for your first item is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing here, okay? Never name your column index. We made it silly. It should be something else. But everything else you should be able to import. So for instance, if I do this, ta-da, we return 0 rows. Why is that? Because we have
Typo, but I forgot what I was gonna use. And for the typo.
yes.
:3 comes from 6.
Okay, let's keep going. Hold on. Oh.
What's so? I just share my whole screen. Why not? Okay. I know that. Yeah, why can't I share my screen?
Okay.
So like, oh my god. Sorry, I sorry. Your select should look kind of like this. Like, I have the BBCS table. I think it's in your database too. But this is what it should look like. Like the command should look like this. So for example, I want to select name and gender from table BBCS. Then this will be the output, which there are only 5 columns here because there are many more columns under. There's like, yeah, you see there's 29 rows, but because my laptop screen is too tiny, you can't see anything, so there's only 5 columns, but there's more than that. So you can like, there's also like ways for you to filter different types of info and select. So these are some of the basic operators. I'll freeze this screen here so that you guys can refer to it when you play around with it. And I'll give you guys like 10 minutes to do this because there are a lot of random things here and you can play around with every single one of them with using the BBCS table that's provided in your database. Letting them try out select. Yeah. No, do you see the amount of like, you see you sure you can do this one?
Yeah.
No.
I'm a 10x engineer.
Not everyone is still.
Just say to me again.
I
Right. I will sleep 10 minutes.
I did only sleep for
we apologize for some very enthusiastic jumping on the other side there. I freezed one of them, yeah. Wait, who's controlling that? Sawmill, give me the controller. Give it. Oh, please. Man. Yep. Yep.
That one.
Give. Wonderful. Isn't that a good? Can I zoom it out? Can I? Ah, wonderful.
Actually, wrote.
Which camera is that?
Press one.
Oh, bro. Ew, God, Lord, Lord have mercy.
I did this
Okay, never mind. Never mind. Okay. Are we good?
Are we good? Anyone like brownie?
It's supposed to be return number of unit. Find total number.
Okay. Wait. The last one, right? Is it the last one? Last one. Yeah. I realized. Is it?
The roll. Sheet. Oh, the return.
All right, we're skipping the timer.
Okay.
Demo.
Yay.
my 2 tabs. Yeah.
You share it.
I will. Okay. Yo, I'm sorry. That camera is actually like popping off. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this, guys. Okay. So let's start by looking at the database. First, we'll look at BBCS, okay? So we have index, name, gender, school, contact number. So let's select distinct class. Nope. What is it called? Gender. From BBCS. I wonder what's going to pop up. Oh no. I spelled distinct wrong. Did I not? There we go. Okay. I thought I had a spelling mistake. Never mind. Okay. So female and male. Yes. Over here we only have binary. Anyways. School.
I haven't put the rest of it.
School. Did anyone run school? Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so we have 13 schools. And let's look at the next one. If I select everything, then you're going to see the whole thing. Okay? Select count. If you do asterisks, this accounts for everything. So similar to how your regular expressions work, your regex work, asterisk basically accounts for all the things with no exceptions. And that's why there's 29.
There's an error in the slide. It's meant to write all rows.
Okay, we're going to get to that. Count. Distinct. Wait, school. This school? Yes. Okay, 13. Okay, let's go back to the select distinct school from BBCS. No. I'm gonna go back to this. Okay, so going back to this previous statement, okay, it does return the number of rows of the unique items in a column. Wrap your head around this. It's basically giving you the length of the number of schools there are. So for instance, if you select the distinct number of schools from the 29 BBCS organizers, you're going to see that there are 13 schools. And so if you get the count of the distinct number of schools, you're going to get 13. Okay, so apologies, the slide is a bit badly phrased, but does everyone understand this? It returns the count of the rows previously inside distinct schools. And so 13, there's 13 rows here. Okay, wonderful. Let's keep going.
Hey. What's an extra one?
PML
Yeah.
5.2. I jumped around a bit.
Oh. Okay, we're gonna talk about DML now. Oh wait, let me unpaste it. So insert. This is like, oh shit. It's like for you to, it's a little bit wordy, but this copies data from one table and inserts into another table. So it requires like the data types in the source, and it requires that the data types in the source and the data types in the target table match. This is the syntax for like inserting the data. Yeah. then this is for when you only want to copy some columns from one table. Like you have to specify it. If not, it's just gonna copy like every single thing from this table into the other one. That?
Yep.
Okay.
So you need to do that. First you have to tell the SQL where you're inserting into. Number two, you have to tell it where you're inserting from. And then the final step is where this is where any conditions you want may be satisfied. For example,
maybe like the index is the same, like
exactly.
primary key equals foreign key.
Yeah. Or maybe like more specifically, if you only want guys to be.
We have like two guys in this table.
Yeah. You specify the condition where you only want the gender to be male or female. Okay.
I will probably. Yeah, you guys get another 10 minutes. There's a lot of hands-on for this because I really want you guys to understand this before we actually do activities. No, there's 3. Then we'll live demo one for you afterwards. And any queries, don't be afraid to ask. Condition is when foreign comes from primary. Some we have a table like that argument people wanna insert your school and your class. That's the first table. Wow. Like school table 1, They have some errors. Hey. Oh, it's.
I know. I'll count 10 minutes.
I don't.
But you didn't use it for all my.
Oh, they exist.
Sorry, guys.
I told you. Oh, you guys
Here.
online.
Yes. No. And when all else fails, I think I have it inside the document. Oh, let's check. Yes, I have it. Okay. So if you go to 5.2, there should be a simple example of the syntax you should be using. It's Christmas themed, but you should be able to use it as well. And also, insert does not just work with moving from one data table to another. It works with like new data sets as well. So for instance, if you want to just insert in a new value, all you have to do is you can go, let me show you guys. Yeah, hold on. Live demo, share screen. Okay, so for instance, right, if you want to add a new entry, insert, I'll delete this line. Insert into BBCS, and then we're gonna set up a whole new. Hmm? Okay. Okay. If we go back, let's come up with a completely fake person for BBCS. Okay. So what do we need? Insert BBCS. We need an index. We need a name. We need a gender. We need a school. We need a contact number. Okay. Can someone memorize this? Wait. Okay. So we need an index, name, gender, school, and contact number. Okay. Let's look at this. So values bracket. How many do we have? Oh, no. Okay. Can someone tell me how many rows we have here? How many? How many? 30? Okay, I think it's 30. 29. So we're gonna do 30. Name. Who is not here? Oh, Justin. I forgot which. He's female. Okay, sure. Domen High School.
Oh.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Oh. No such column. Oh, right, because I have to insert. Sorry, I have to insert the actual thing. So you have to actually do this. Name, gender, school, contact number. And because of index.
Oh.
It was not the best idea to name it like that. Anyways. Okay.
Just change the whole name. Like
Why?
The whole,
Oh,
no, like the name of the
okay.
change index into like
Huh?
IDX.
You want to rename it?
Name the
Oh. Yeah. Okay, alter into it. I'm too lazy. I didn't think that. What about it?
I saw.
Okay. Yeah. Just say ID or something. Uh, so index. No, try it again. Yeah, try it again. E. Did the E come from? Oh, here. You see, this is why you should never name it index, bruh.
I saw.
Okay, let's do this. Hold on. Click. Let's just do this manually.
I saw him.
Okay.
What if I?
Okay. All right. Now let's try. Oh, that was rough.
Sorry.
Okay. So now, if we go back to insert into BVCS, I need to put in everything again. Name, gender. Where did they go? Name, gender. Ah. ID, name, gender, school, contact note. Okay. Values. Then 30. I. Okay. See this. Hmm? Wait, I think I know. No such column. Okay, wait, anyways. Wait, okay. Let's keep that on hold. I need to figure out. But you can still insert into databases with column on my own.
Yeah. Let me share the rest of it. Okay, sorry for the delay, guys. I didn't think this through yet. So I named the thing index, and then it's okay. Next, update. So this is used to modify existing records in a table, and this is the syntax. This where condition specifies which records should be updated, and if you omit the where clause, right, every single one of your data in table, like all records, are gonna be updated. So if you want to nuke your entire table again, you can just don't write this, and then your entire table will change. Yeah, and if you really want to suffer, like you want to update all of your columns, you gotta write like from column 1 all the way to like column 29 for this table. So just comma. Hmm?
The syntax for I think E will
Condition. So like you've got like I think it's you have you use the BBCS table. We have the Discord ID, name, and gender. Then where condition probably like if you really want to specify like where Discord ID equals to something or like something something equals to something. So it will only change that. Yeah. And then you can specify the number of columns from there. I roughly get it too. Okay, I'll give you guys 10 minutes to try it out because 10 minutes. I'll give you guys 5 minutes to try it out because 10 minutes way too long for this. And I'll leave this here for you because yeah. I set a time of 5 minutes. You guys can try out the update table using the BBCS table now.
this is the case, I'm going to play. Yay. Okay, I'm actually. Oh, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. Okay. Anyways, so going back to the insert. Okay. Let's go back to. If you guys are done with the update. Okay. So insert. The reason I apologize. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. When I inserted the thing, I forgot to take into account that we're coding, which means that strings have to be in quotation marks. Whoops. Anyways, let us fix that real quick. So if I have Justin without quotation marks, SQL thinks it's a variable. That's why we're having errors. So here's what we're gonna do. I will insert into BBCS value. I'm going to put quotation marks Justin, right? We don't need the ID because the ID is our primary key, so it will be automatically incremented for us. So Justin, female again. He's dumb in high school, and we're gonna put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So if you insert into BBCS value, and this into BBCS, and I'm going to name, gender, school, contact. No, nope. It is a text. Oh, okay. Guess it's in text. All right. So if I were to do this, insert into BBCS, gender. Oh, your thing is going haywire, right?
Maybe it's just my laptop issue.
BBCS. BBCS. No, but your ID should be fine because your ID shouldn't matter. Your ID fully increments. How does this work? But this doesn't. Good question. Wait, let me share my screen. Hold on. Yes, no. I can go window.
We did have data cut because he
Oh, I'm goofy. Yeah, see? It should be values. Aha. Okay. There we go. You see over there? Okay. I definitely woke up on the wrong side of that because I wrote value instead of values. There's multiple values that you're adding onto the thing. And so you have to put values and then Justin. So if we go back to the database structure and we browse the data, you should see that we have a Justin. We have a female Justin here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Apologies for that. Anyways, working with different tables should work as well. And so make sure that the syntax is important. Okay. Anyways, let's update Justin to male because I don't think he would appreciate this. Let's see. So updating. Wait, someone said my name. Who? Anyways. Okay. Update. Down. Update. Okay. Update. Say gender. Okay, I just renamed it to be male, so hopefully Justin is not a male. Wonderful. Okay, Justin is a guy now, and so if I go back to SQL, you see that I've set. Give me the GovTech merch. Merch. Okay, so you see the update here. I've updated the BBCS table and I set the gender to male only where the name is equal to Justin. And because fortunately we only have one Justin in our data set, we only changed this Justin's thing to male.
But if
Okay.
we have multiple Justins, then everyone's gonna be male regardless of what they identify as.
So you can see how this is very insecure.
Yeah.
Right.
This is just really basic.
Never change all the Justins. Never do that. Because yeah. Because imagine if I select all the people that comes from RI and I change it all to female. That'd be kind of disastrous. Okay, let's go back. Next. I know, wait. Okay.
Okay, delete. This is pretty simple because it's just deleting like a record from your table. And this is the syntax. It's a pretty simple thing. You gotta specify the condition though, or else I think it won't work, probably. It's either it's not gonna work or it's gonna nuke your entire database. Yeah, please. So, you guys get another 3 minutes. Bro, like, how did this all get here?
Let's nuke a database. Let us nuke a database, guys. Me. Sorry. Huh? I apologize. It's okay, guys. All right, let's go. If I want to nuke it,
Yay.
we are not discriminate, so I'm going to remove the gender. So, delete from BVCS where gender is equal to male. Wonderful. Now all the males are gone.
Everyone's female.
Now, what if I don't include the where condition? Never do this, okay? It's okay though, because we have a backup. Delete from BBCS. Wow, it's all gone. Nuked. Okay, but it's okay. We can revert changes.
Oh yeah, we always have this.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, now let's make everyone.
Okay, while she does the male phonetic.
How do you update? Sorry. Oh, like just set gender, then you don't set the condition.
We're all totally false now.
Everyone is female now because this is what happens if you don't specify the condition, which I forgot to say just now, I think. Now everyone's back. CL, okay. Okay, now moving on to DCL. So I mean, you guys can try these out by yourself, yes? Hmm? Peter can go help him. Yeah. So these, I won't really give you guys a specific activity time for these, so you guys can try these out on your own. So first, grant. This will grant like specific access rights to certain users, and the syntax is grant privilege on table name to user. But right now, I don't think we'll ever use this. This is just like a good to know. And revoke does the opposite of grant. It revokes access rights to certain users, and this is the syntax for it. But we missed out a category. Do you guys remember what we missed out? Do you guys remember? You guys know? You want to take a guess? Anyone? No, I'm just kidding. We didn't miss out anything. You lose. You lost. Okay. Now, TCL. So these are more of the important ones that I think you guys should try out. So commit, it permanently saves any transaction to the database. You just type commit into execute SQL, and then it will save all your changes. And rollback is the same as revert changes. It restores the database to the last committed state. Or it can be used with the save point command to jump to a save point in a transaction. And this is the syntax. Save point is this temporarily saves a transaction so that you can roll back to that point whenever necessary. And the syntax looks like this. So when do I use commit of save points? This is some like general advice. So commit is when like your database is like completely finalized, you're sure you're not gonna make any more changes, then you can commit it. Then save point is like a temporary checkpoint that you can always roll back or undo to. If you commit, the changes are permanently saved and cannot be directly reversed. It's like committing to like a CCA, and then you like get trapped there for 6 years. Okay, so this is a brief summary of what we've just learned. So you have the DDL, DML, DCL, and TCL. These are all of the commands. For these, like, you don't need to know. We only taught you these four on top.
Yeah.
So now we've got a full activity for you guys. After you guys finish learning this, we're gonna put Python into it too. So you guys can code the database through Python. Yay, it's really fun, trust me. You guys can set up the environment now. So you can open VS Code.
Okay.
Hey.
Yes. So my turn. So to set up, I'm going to go back. Thank you. We're gonna go back to our repository. Remember the hands-on activity that we were looking at? Well, there's another folder in there. It's actually, well, the home directory. Let me just explain this. So if you go to VS Code, back to VS Code we go, right? Remember the folder that we opened? Okay, there is, if you minimize the hands-on activity and you only focus on the database and the Jupyter notebook, you see that we have a Santa's workshop.db. That is the database you'll be working on, as well as a workbook, okay? This workbook has everything you need to know in order to do the task, okay? So SQLite 3 is natively built into Python. So if you have Python installed, you should be able to run this with no problem. Additionally, yes, apologies. Anyways, let me do this. Okay, so, all right, awesome. So if you see this, SQLite 3 should be natively built in to Python, as I was saying. And so you should be able to import this with no problem. Then you have 9 tasks, okay? That basically walks you through from connecting to a database. It's a bit different than SQL because in DB browser, it automatically connects your database. And so we'll be teaching you how from connect to database, then to add these and to the do, and later on. But first, set up the Python environment.
You guys gotta set up the Jupyter file. I have it in my slides. Sorry. Slide thing. Pretty sure thing sucks, bro. Okay, so open a new Jupyter file like this. You go to File, New File, then you select Jupyter Notebook. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry that you can do that. Okay. So what's SQLite 3? It's a built-in C language or library module to work with SQLite databases in Python. So yeah, you don't have to install anything external. So these are just the basic syntax. You can go to read up more at the SQLite website or something. Here's some things to note before we start. Okay, so you got to remember to import SQLite 3. Try except are very useful. You'll learn it as we go. Statements are the same as what we taught just now. So like insert, update, all that. And I'll also be teaching you cursor with importing a database, importing a CSV into the database, and how to execute an SQL statement in Python. You will have a lot of fun, trust me. Okay, let's start. So why import? Your codes won't work if you don't import. This is like the very basic thing. And import allows you to use the SQLite 3 module in Python. So it's very important. You can't even use SQLite. And why try except? The try except blocks, right? The try block lets you test a block of code for errors, and the except block lets you handle the error. The error can be handled by printing something in place of it, so you don't get that ugly red error message. But it still exists, so you still gotta fix it somehow. And so this is how you use the SQLite 3 module in Python. First, you'll connect to the database. You create tables in the database. You can create cursor objects and call execute on the SQL statements. You can commit the transaction into the database, and then you close the database connection. So activity time. This is your storyline. Do you want me to read it out? Or you wanna, okay. So like you guys' job as Santa's elves is to gather all the toys in the factory, categorize them, and get rid of the threats. And you gotta receive new orders, and get like them ready to be gifted to the kids. And this is definitely not unpaid. You guys get snacks at the end of it. So this is how you would connect to a database through Python using like, first you import SQLite 3 and error. If you use all lowercase error, it's not gonna do anything, it's wrong. And then try this, try SQLite3.connect, and then accept error as E. So a tip for you guys is just place we have like this column, no, this bit at the start. You can just place all 3 of these imports inside of it and run it so that you don't have to like import SQLite 3 for every single task that you're gonna do. So this is what like an example connection DB will look like. Yeah, like this. So here's taskbar now. As his oh, I forgot to cancel this, sorry. As his elves, your first task is to create a database called Santa's Workshop to compile all of the toys that are supposed to be packed up and gifted to the kids. Does it work? Wait. Huh? You froze both, bro. Okay. Okay, so you just recall what you learned about ConnectDB. I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to do this. Hint, big hint, giant hint. Hi. Oh, does anyone here like not know Python? Oh, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, I'll push this.
My opinion, right?
You're not even speaker.
Yeah, no, I'm just at the end of the day, right? Even if you don't know Python, I hope that this will allow you to see what Python can do. Like as you start from like when you learn Python on your own, or think of it as I'm working towards actually understanding how does this code, which I learned from BuildingBloCS a long time ago, work? And it builds up
Stand-up comedy.
level of attainment that you actually understand every line.
Yeah.
Yeah, really pesky audience member.
Yeah.
Thanks for input. We'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
Oh, it's 5 minutes.
Aw.
Isn't it
Are
5
you
minutes?
guys good? Did you guys connect to the database?
Are your codes working? Anyone's getting errors? Yeah, and anyone getting what the heck? Okay, I don't think anyone's getting errors. No one's getting any really weird errors. Oh, hi. Let's wait one sec.
And you don't really need this part, actually, because I know it's gonna work. I tested this 5 times last night.
I don't know how to use it. Git. Why didn't it get? Okay. Give me the thing. I'm the one running this activity, dude.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, give me the.
Next.
He's revoked my access to pointing
Okay.
rights.
Remember when we talked about with inserting data?
Yeah, you guys get to do it now, but in Python.
Yeah.
Yay!
Same thing.
Revision.
Look at this. Look at this wonderful thing. Look, SQL. You write your SQL, then you execute the SQL, and then you save your changes with commit.
Wow.
And that will be reversible.
And the question marks represent the like they're placeholders for your data. Yeah.
They're formally known as wildcard values because they can be anything.
Yay. Could be a threat. You never know. Sorry guys. And then next, selecting data. You guys, does it look familiar to you? Have you guys been listening? Is this familiar? No? Okay. I will assume no one's been listening. Give me this.
Select. Okay, same thing, right? Okay, and then you execute, commit, try accept. Put this in your head. This is the if you walk away from this workshop with nothing but Python, this is the flow. SQL, execute, commit, try accept.
We love try accept.
SQL, execute, commit, try accept.
Yay.
Yeah. The rest of the functions will just basically look like this.
And like, yeah. This is basically the syntax we taught you just now, like select column from table.
Yep. So if you're not sure whether your SQL is right, do it in DB browser first.
Yep, you can just test it on DB browser, then copy the code into into Python.
But if your thing works, then there's a high chance you don't have to.
Yep. Wait, what? No,
Then
not the
hit
Python,
save.
not the SQL.
Yeah.
SQL, you have to save it yourself.
Yes.
Okay, deleting data. So same thing we taught just now. Use delete from table name where condition. Execute, commit, try, accept. If, yeah, like he said, you better walk away with the last three, probably, from this workshop. And then updating data is the same as, yeah, it's just update. Like we changed the thing. Drop table, so same thing. And now here's the fun part, creating tables in the database. Like, I don't think I've taught you guys this at the start, but like you just learn both at the same time. So you go to DB browser, you create a new database, click create table, add the needed field, select constraints and data types, and copy the text in the Python. Wait. So I have a demo. I have a demo. Unfreeze it. Oh, I don't need that. So let's say you want to create a students table. So in DB browser, you click create table. Then you'll see this interface. So here you can enter your table name, your fields, your constraints. Not null is NN, primary key is PK, auto increment is AI, and unique is U. So not null means that there cannot be a null value inside of your database. Primary key is what we taught just now. That's like the main thing. Then auto increment is literally just auto increment. And unique means that there cannot be two of the same thing in that data, like in that field. Yeah, it cannot be the same thing.
So you see how in here we name the assignment.
Yeah, that was an oversight on my part. I forgot.
Yep. So make sure you do that.
So you'll get something like this after you click out of here. Like not click out of here, but like if you click somewhere else after setting all these constraints, you'll get this. So you just copy this into your Python. And for linking, oh yeah, wait, sorry. Just copy this into your Python. Give you guys a few seconds. What's up?
Execute.
Yeah.
So
Also,
But isn't there already a voice?
delete damn database. That wasn't also on my part. Just delete the. Sorry guys. Just for the database, right? I think there's an error with it. So just delete the Santa's Workshop database first, because your Connect DB, if your code works, right, it will just create a new DB for you. So it'll be like clean and full of nothing. So you can just do that. As for creating tables, right, I encourage you guys to create a table, like leave it there first. Then once your create table thing works, right, then you can delete the database and redo it so that it will give you like fresh new tables. Yeah. Because linking the foreign key, which I was gonna teach, but there was problems. I was gonna teach that it requires you to have at least one like one table in there so you can link the other one to it. What are you doing? Man. What are you doing? Your life and waiting for like. Oh no, I haven't. No, I was gonna wait. Go back to the activity. Flash the activity. Oh. This is like just the. You don't work on the pandas thing yet. One sec. I haven't flashed the activity yet. Then for linking tables together with a foreign key, first you scroll to the side of your new table until you see this. Like there will literally be just foreign key there. Then you can click on which one you want to reference, which in my case is the students table. Like you'll click this and you can see like the tables which you can reference. Then you're gonna select, close this, it's blocking. You're gonna select the field that you want to reference. So in my case, it's the ID field. So this is what it should look like. Foreign key, stu ID, references, students ID. So these two tables are linked together by this key now.
So remember the classes and students tables that we were referencing?
beginning of the workshop. This is how you reference the
Yep.
so that you can link the students with the classes they're taking as well as the
And then this is what an example code will look like, but don't be afraid, okay? Like, okay, it might look scary, but basically you just copy and paste everything from DB browser, so it's not that bad. What?
Remember the 4 things? We have
Yay.
SQL. Oh, we connect, but that's
No, that
execute.
was because that's like another activity.
Yeah,
But
you connect.
we don't need that normally.
Except, okay, so it's the same structure. You just need to copy the big
Oh,
SQL table.
the reason why there's connect here is because I mixed both. Like I mixed connect and the thing into. Yeah, but normally connect and create tables are separate. Oh, no, we don't need that. When I copy and paste it, it's just this thing, this funny thing, and then it's done. Oh yeah, the 3 quotation marks. Sorry. And then you gotta use this 3 quotation mark thing, because if you use like 2 quotes or 1 quote, right? If like you have such a long section of data, it's just gonna extend all the way outside of your VS Code, and it's really messy, and I don't want to read that. So what you want to do is you do 3, like for single quotes and double quotes, you can't do this, because if you were to do this in a double quote, it'll just give you an error, because I don't know why it's like that, something like that. Probably, I don't know. Then, but if you do like triple quote, right, you can actually have like this really neat sort of arrangement. Then that will allow you to read the data, like no, read the code more easily. Huh?
Yeah, to elaborate on that, 3 quotation marks basically establishes a multi-line string in Python. If you guys haven't learned Python yet, that's why you can put multiple lines of your SQL statement within this triple quotation mark. Okay. Typically, what you do is you do double quotation mark first and then single quotation mark. But in this case, because you're working with SQL, either works. Okay. Okay. So task 2, you should see the instructions. It will tell you the exact tables you have to create inside the README file. But just to reiterate, you have the toys table that you have to create with toy ID, type, and name, and the specified data types, as well as the buttons you have to click, should be inside the README file. Okay, so it should be all described. There's also the recipients one, which is here, but it should be in the README. Okay, go ahead. Spend the next 5 minutes kind of working on this.
Yeah. And I would like to reiterate that once you create the tables, you've got the foreign key, and once you've created the tables, got the foreign key and stuff, I recommend you to just delete the database, rerun your connect code, and then rerun this table code so that you can check if it actually works. Deleting the database right now is not really like that big of an issue. Like you can just nuke it because there's nothing in it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
If you want the slides, sorry, like, yes, if you want the slides, it's also in the repository because I thought of everything. There's a presentation.pdf. Yeah, I'm so kind, I know. And so if at any point, I didn't reveal this at the start because I want you guys to listen in, but now that we kind of have, this free activity that you can kind of go over, if you're one of those that likes to speed run things, this slide is there. You can finish all the tasks in the next 10 minutes. It is achievable. But if you want to go over the slides again, a version of the slide is available as a PDF. Yeah, you can open the presentation in preview, or I don't know what Windows use, but yeah, don't open in VS Code. Thank you. Oh, don't put this on my thing, bro. It literally deceiving.
Clean.
We're gonna roll through these tasks like regularly. Now that you guys have the slides, we're just gonna roll through things very, very fast. Did you just
I
trip?
didn't trip, no.
Did she trip? Did anyone see she tripped? Yeah, that's too close. Okay, let's keep going. So, my turn again. Task 3, importing CSVs into databases. So, you might see that inside your repository, there are two CSVs. There's a new toys and there's a new recipients. Those data you have to import right now. So, remember what we taught? Instead of SQL, you also need to import your CSV. Okay? And so we'll be using the CSV module, which I have not included because you need to learn how to import things. Then you have to enter into, execute the statement, commit the statement, and then try accept. Okay? So here it is in its full form. For those of you who don't know Python, be careful that you do have to import CSV outside of the function because I did not import it in the workbook for you. I only imported SQLite 3. Then you have to do this, okay? So this is an example. You have to rename as follows, but if your table is for, let's say, toys, then you have to insert into toys and recipients into recipients. So those are the two databases you just made in task 2. Then you open the CSV file with built-in function called open. This is a built-in function in Python. And you're going to read the CSV. You're not changing any of the data. And so the open function has 3 modes. But the only mode, oh, wow. The only mode you're going to be concerned about is the read mode. Okay? Oh, never mind. Yes, the only mode you have to concern yourself is with R. Okay, so you're going to read the CSV file. You're going to skip the header because you already have the header by setting up that relational table. And then you're going to read every line you're going to read it into the database, your relational table, and you're going to execute, commit, and then you're going to add 1 because you're going to the next row until you reach the last row, and then you're going to say that the import table has completed. Okay? So I'm going to leave this up here for physical, and I'm going to come back to this later. But your task is to import that new toy CSV into the database. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes-ish to get this done. And for online people, I'm going to go back to this function. 10 minutes? Okay, Ken. Okay. Good luck. Okay, are we good? Decent-ish on importing the CSV. Let me live demo. Okay, Ken. So I'm going to assume that you guys have done the previous task. So I'm just gonna do this. Boop. VS Code. Okay. So okay. Let me run through. Okay, awesome. So we look at, I'm going to basically run through this. This is fine. I'm going to set up the database. I'm gonna connect to it. Connect. Wonderful. Create tables. Okay, we're gonna create the tables. Okay. So to import the toys, okay, this is the general idea. Okay, we have a function for toys and we have a function recipients. Okay, so for this, in this particular function, we are importing the toys from the toy CSV. So we have our CSV file name. Oh, never mind. We have our CSV file name. Okay, this is the CSV. This is a parameter in which we'll be later specifying to be new toys.csv. Then we tell the SQL to insert into toys, all of the values, and then the rest is just the same. Huh. Okay. We're gonna run this, and then notice how here I set that to import the toys dbcom. This is the database that I just connected to. It's over here. And then we're going to import in new toys.csv. So when I do this, this is going to import all 24 toys. Okay? And then you can verify that your toys have actually been imported by looking at DB browser. Okay? But due to time, we're gonna just keep going. Same thing with the recipients. Okay, it's the same exact thing except change the parameters from toys to recipients here. Okay, so we're gonna run this, and then we're gonna run this. So you should have 24 recipients, the same exact number as the number of toys here. Wonderful. Okay, let's go back. Let's keep going to task number 5. Yes, it is your turn now.
Okay.
Oh.
Cursor. Yay. So what's cursor? The SQLite cursor class is an instance where you can invoke methods that execute SQLite statements and fetch data from the resulting sets of the queries. You can create a cursor object like this, which is just cur conda execute and then your SQL. Then whatever you want to get, you use this. But I'll be teaching you guys this function. So this is just like an example. So like I'll teach you guys fetch one and fetch all. To run these, you just do cur dot function or whatever you've named your cursor dot function. So like, for example, like I name my cursor cur. So it's a cur dot fetch one, cur dot fetch all. And you don't put anything in these brackets. So how does it work? You like, for some of you, maybe you like, it's a little bit confusing. So imagine like it's your mouse cursor. It's like scrolling through a list and selecting what you want. And then for this cur dot fetch one, this method fetches the next row of a query result set. Okay, yeah, returning a single sequence or none when no data is available. So for example, you've got this table of students, and then you can do cur dot fetch one. This will return like one row of the table. And to select specifics, you can do cur dot fetch one, and then square bracket 0. And then this will return the Discord ID. So like this, yeah. And cur dot fetch all fetches all remaining rows of a query result, returning a list. And an empty list is returned when no rows are available. Using the same table from just now, cur dot fetch all will return all the rows in this table, but in a list. And to get a specific value, just use cur dot fetch all, then 2 square brackets and 1 and a 0 in each one. So I think this will also give you, I think these also give you the Discord ID. But if you do this, it'll probably give you like the first row only. So now on to task 5. There's some threats and contamination in the form of organs and weapons if you look at your database clearly. So please help to filter these out. And the contamination is in the form of organs, bombs, and guns. Use the cursor to find out the toy ID and the toy name of these pieces of contamination. Yeah. You recall what you learned about cursor and use cur dot fetch all for this. Okay. Wait. Cur dot fetch all. Um, 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's at 12.
Oh, she's now.
No,
Now.
tell her she's still presenting at 12.
Yeah. I think she'll like find.
You put one up.
Uh, oh, wait.
Cynthia.
Clip it onto his scalp.
I felt that. No.
First person, like, so if she gives a talk,
She's giving a 12.
Huh?
She's giving a 12.
keep this here. But you play. Then the guitar part.
Did bro just crash out? Yeah. Okay.
BCS is a spread.
It's fine. Wonderful. Okay. Let's look at the demo. So, here we go. While Cindy is helping, I'm gonna walk through the demo. So, when we're looking at removing contaminants, one of the key things that you need to be mindful of is number one, what we're trying to remove, and number two, what exactly you want to do with those things that you want to remove. So, when we're filtering out contaminants, first we want to make sure that the contaminant type is that we want to remove is either a gun or a bomb or an organ. Okay, pretty easy. Now, we set up an empty contaminant list. Okay, make sure that you need to return the contaminant list later on because for the next couple of tasks you will need it. And so, in every toy type, in every single toy type, okay, we use a for loop. For those of you who didn't do Python, this basically iterates through every single item in this array list, and then for each of the item, it gets slotted in to toy type. So for the first iteration, toy type will be equal to gun, then the toy type will be equal to bomb, and etc., etc. Then remember what we said, we put the SQL, we select all the toy IDs and toy names that satisfy the condition that the toy type is a gun. Okay? Then we execute the SQL, we fetch all of it using the cursor, because remember that the cursor looks at the entire object that it returns and then selects all of it as a tuple, as an array. And then you extend the rows here, you add it. The presentation's here. No, it's in presentation PDF. Just open it in preview or whatever. Anyways, yes, so this should work. If you click and then you click, you see that we have a list. Once you printed out the contaminants, you can see all of the contaminated things. So we have an atomic bomb, we have a nuke, we have a heart, kidneys, liver, and also lungs. Okay, we do not want those in Santa's toy list. So we remove that, and now it should say, if you go to DB browser, it should clear away some rows. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Now for task 6, you will want to remove also the people, the recipients who wanted those toys because they're very naughty for trying to order nukes or lungs. And so what we have to do is to remove those people too. So your next task here would be to filter out the people. Okay, so follow a similar logic as you would previously with filtering out the toys using the cursor. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip over this task and then we're gonna run 6, 7, 8, 9 together. So take the time now to look at task 6. We're gonna move on to task 7 to 9. Finally, deleting specific records. Remember when we, for task 6 and 7, we merely just isolated the contaminants, but we actually want to remove those from our database. And so we use delete from, where the condition is obviously if the requested gift is a gun, a bomb, or an organ, okay? And so your task 7 is to help delete the records of the people who have asked for the dangerous item. Then your task 8 is to delete the records of the dangerous item. And finally, we'll be joining tables. And so 6, 7, 8 will take around 5 or so minutes. It's okay. We'll run it through together. Don't worry. So the next couple of tasks we'll be demoing together. Okay? So here's how it's going to work. Check this out. And don't worry, any extra time that we'll be having towards the end of the workshop, I'll give it to you guys so that you guys can test out the code itself, okay? So check this out, okay? Over here in task 4 and 5, what you basically have done, in task 5, sorry, in 5 and 6, what you basically have done is you have filtered out the contaminants. Remember this? This is what you've done, okay? You've already looked at the contaminant type and you've isolated using select. So now all you have to do is you take that same exact function, you copy and paste, and instead of select, you use delete from, right? Does that make sense? Because selecting only gives you a list, but then later on, you want to delete from the database itself, okay? The rest of that should be the same, okay? And so over here, we've kind of cheesed it a bit because we're working with a Jupyter notebook. And the nice thing about Jupyter notebooks is that if you print out this line, you can basically see all the toy IDs that are corresponding with the guns, with the bombs, with the organs. Yes. And so we're going to take those toy IDs here. We're going to put it into a very big array here of the individual toys. Okay? But then the hard thing about SQL is that you have to basically format it as a very, very long string. And so you're going to struggle a bit if you don't know Python. But if you do, what you can then do is you can convert this array into a string by using this neat function called join. Okay, we're going to join each of these IDs together using quotation marks plus a comma. Okay, so you're going to see 34148576, comma, space, next ID, comma, space, next ID, and it will be a very, very long string later on. Then you're going to select all of this, okay, from the recipients where the toy ID are these, and then you're going to fetch all of that. And then you're going to delete it from there.
If you guys don't want to use arrays, right? I've got a non-array thing and use. I have a so like what task are we on? Task 6. Okay.
7.
Oh no, I showed them the cursor code. Like, I'm sorry if I didn't make like cursor clear enough for you guys just now, but it's supposed to be like your cursor is your SQL statement. Sorry, your cursor is the executed SQL statement, and then for what you want, like this will just get like a list of all of it. Wait, task 5.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And then you can, when you append the list, you basically get like all this stuff. It will be in a tuple. You get like a list of everything in a tuple, then when you append it to the list, it becomes one big list. Like it's a bunch of lists and lists.
Does that make sense?
Sorry, a little bit.
We're basically taking what we created over here. Yeah, so you see this big list that we've done. We're basically taking the flag here. We're just gonna take that here. So you're selecting those particular choices that you have already filtered are contaminated, and then you're
Remember your specifiers from select. That's where you're gonna use them. Yeah.
and you can then do what you delete them using delete from. You just replace select, and then the rest of them should be okay.
So you see, if it works correctly, you're supposed to get these people.
Yeah, so you should get a list of these people that you want to filter, and so task 7 will then become the same exact SQL statement, but instead of select, you'll use the from. Okay, and then all you have to do now is put the list. Okay.
It's a very short code. Yeah. Sorry if I never made it that clear at the beginning.
Okay, wonderful.
Yay.
Task 8 is the exact same statement. 7, 8. Task 7 and task 8 are the exact same format with the delete from. It's just you change the recipients from task 7 to toys in task 8. So you have delete from toys, where the toys ID is the exact same format as you have found here. So you just copy and paste all of these instead of very long bracket filled with quotation marks and commas. So you format it like this. Okay, so it's the same exact format, and then you just copy and paste it over. There are, of course, better ways, but right now, because we are having a time crunch, it's easier to work just with an SQL statement like that. Okay, we're gonna take 5 minutes now. If you have any questions, raise up your hand and it will help. And in the final 5 minutes, we'll kind of wrap things up and finish up cleaning up this database. Cynthia. Is everyone doing okay here? It's a bunch of rote copy and pasting, but it should teach you the most basic SQL statement writing. There's also, if you're more into Python, the solution that I've shown here is a bit more catered to you. For those of you who don't know Python, then maybe looking at SQL statement is better method to kind of understand this. There are better ways. For example, right here in the pure SQL solution, you are putting in the IDs directly, right? There's no other way. But if you're more like Python, then what you can actually do is you can fetch the toy IDs from here, right? This gives you, for those of you who are like really good at Python, you'll realize that this is actually just a tuple or an array that is 2-dimensional, right? It's a 2x1, it's a pair, so key value pair, right? So what we can then do is to take the first index per item. That will give you the toy ID. And so you can actually just skip over this hard coding altogether and then just use that as the 0 index, just to make your life easier. But delete person, delete thread, whatever, it's all the same. In logic, you just delete the person using the list, and to delete thread, you get the toy ID, do the same exact thing, and instead of select from toys, you use delete from. Okay, and then execute commit. Final thing, before we have 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over the 9th task, and then the rest of the time is just for you guys to kind of look at it. And then if you guys are super confused, I'll show you guys the solution as well. But let's keep going. Share. And I apologize for running this fast because we do have a speaker coming up at 12. So I apologize if we're not explaining this fully enough. We will do our best. Okay, task 9. So far you've been working in 3 tables, right? You've been working in toys, you've been working in recipients, and you also have the original Santa's list. So now you want to join both of these databases, the toys and the recipients, database together. Remember that you've been filtering these individually. Okay? So how we do this, we're not going to do this, but if you can, sure, go ahead. We're going to be joining tables. Okay? So if you go back to the presentation slide, you will know that to join tables, let me just go right up. Okay, who can remember this specific thing to join the tables? If not, then I will just find the slide. Where is the summary? Oh, it's down here. Okay. Yep, wonderful. Okay, so over here, right? You need to figure out which exactly you want to use from this in order to join or merge, hint, the tables together, okay? And also, if you need any help, the document is very useful to help you figure out which exact commands to use when joining the two tables.
I'll upload a separate solutions file because his solutions are a little bit weird. Mine are coded in the context of me being stupid, and it's like easier to understand. Like at least I can understand it. I'm stupid, so if I'm stupid, I can understand. You can understand it too. Yeah.
Okay, but let's keep going for the final one. Task 9. Okay, let's look at this.
I'm also lost actually. I'm proficient in this field.
All right, let's look at this. Okay. So let's look at the SQL, okay? We're not going to look at the Python. Let's just look at the SQL. So what you want to do when merging the table, remember that the asset properties, you want to essentially ensure that all of the columns are exactly the same. So you have toys from your toys database. You have the toys type, the toy name, and the recipient ID, okay, as well as the recipient name. Those are the parameters that you have created that are across the different tables. So you notice how we've specified it to be the table as well as the attribute. Okay, so you're selecting both attributes from both tables. Then you're joining from toys to recipient because the relationship is toys goes to recipient. So you go from toys join to recipients with the condition or with the foreign key that this toy ID is equal to the recipient's toy ID. So in this case, the recipient's toy ID actually becomes a foreign key that links to the table of toys. And so that is how you can merge these two tables together. It's because these two attributes actually correspond to each other. Okay? And so if you do that, then you should get a full table using print. You can join the tables together, and then you can see that the recipients and the toys are merged. So if you unmerge it.
Okay, I've already uploaded the solution, so you guys can go take a look.
Okay, let's do this. And then you can see how right now all of the dangerous toys have been deleted. And so over here, it's all toy weapon, Nerf gun, action figures, doll, games, all of it without the actual dangerous weapons. Okay? So let me, wait, it's not screen sharing?
It is sharing.
Yeah, so you can see here that the database should be okay now. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. To those of you who have been utterly and absolutely demolished by the speed run, this is how you can access the solution. There's two ways. I know. There's two ways. So there's a version inside resources in the thread, or alternatively, if you go back to the GitHub repository link here, you see this. You can switch branch from main to solution. Okay, so that will give you, yeah, it was there the whole time. Yes, I didn't tell you though, because I want you guys to try it out. Anyways, there's a solution.jupyter notebook, which you can open, and all of the code that I've just demoed to you guys is all over here.
Mine's better.
Take your
Mine's
pick.
easier. Yeah,
Um,
take your pick. I believe mine is better. I
yeah,
will die on that hill.
that's called self-sampling bias.
Die.
But yes, those are all the code. All of it's here.
Yep.
Important thing for you to take away from this workshop is not exactly the code, but actually just the acronyms and also the way you do it. Okay. So remember, in conclusion, you have the asset properties. You have to make sure that when you're actually developing, I know that some of you guys in your groups, you are thinking of doing databases, either to store messages or to store usernames, passwords. Okay. So if you're thinking about that, make sure that you're following these principles if you're using Python as a backend.
Okay.
Or you can just use SQL. No one really minds as long as usable and etc. Okay?
I originally wanted you guys to suffer a little bit more.
Yeah,
And I wanted you guys to do,
but
but then there's no time for it. Like if you knew Python to like a very good extent, I was gonna make you guys do this. But like there's no time, so it's just like a whole list now. You actually
yes,
managed to fix it.
but
But we're short on time. Sorry.
it's okay because the majority of this should be database exploration anyways. Okay, wonderful. We have 2 minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Just like it doesn't matter. Like any final questions we have.